to unpack here, so I guess I should start getting unpacked. But this is a segment that I was going to do much later, but I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do this now, and this is inconsequential. And I'm using this to springboard, and there's a lot going on here that, again, a lot of these people are mostly irrelevant that I'm going to show here. A lot of these people are mostly understood to be bad actors, but a lot of them are not. And if I can provide any elucidation on why these people are bad, in the battlefield of ideas, I will do so. So over the course of the last 24 hours, on Twitter, there were a lot of these so-called leftist accounts, people that purport to be leftists, and this is an alliance of red-brown kind of, at this point now it's very clear, that I've been focusing on over the last couple of weeks. This is the same crowd that told you if you vote for Joe Biden, you're evil, but never made a comment on whether or not to vote for Donald Trump. Some of them even said Trump was better than Biden, but most of them were like, if you vote for either one of them, you're garbage, right? And then their next grift was force the vote. Do you remember the last month of our collective lifetimes? On Twitter and YouTube and all the progressive media space, everyone's like, force the vote, force the vote, force the vote. Right? Everyone's like, force the vote. Calling AOC an evil corporate sellout, saying that we're going to go after her, saying that AOC is evil. These very same people, and I want to say this, and this needs to be explicit, and again, I was shocked at how one-to-one this line was. Now, I didn't look at Brianna Joy Gray's Twitter feed, but, you know, I'll hold out some hope on that one. But a lot of people sent me a lot of images of a lot of these so-called leftist accounts that for the last 1 month were spamming, force the vote, force the vote, force the vote for the last month. And then the last few days, fraud squad, these people. And so I've got a collection of screenshots, and this one here is primarily focused on Nico House. However, this Stardust person is also extremely problematic. So yesterday, Cory Bush unveiled legislation to attempt to expel members of Congress that were objecting to the electoral results and were inciting the coup. Because if you object to this election, you are inciting a coup. There was no election fraud. You are a dumbass. And so a lot of these people in this group, this Force the Vote group, were agreeing that it was an election fraud. I think I've got, here we go. Fiorella Isabel, which again, she is very heavily connected to Nico House, very connected to the Tulsi Gabbard Force the Vote crew, you know, connected to Brianna Joy Gray and Jimmy Dore, right? These people organized the Force the Vote rally 2 days before fascists stormed the Capitol. These guys were organizing the Force the Vote rally that only got like 30 people. So Fiorella says the protest was mostly nonviolent. Now this is at 10. This isn't at 10 a.m. This isn't like when it was just like, you know, people like screaming, "Stop the steal." This is at 10 p.m. This is after everything occurred. This person is writing this. And again, this is someone that hosts a podcast called The Convo Couch, I believe, which purports to be a left-wing podcast. They are connected to left-wing media circles. They claim to be left-wingers, and they are endorsing a fascist coup, and I need to highlight that. So this person says, the protest was mostly nonviolent. I suspect the people were allowed on purpose to prove a point that's beyond the scene, that's a behind-the-scenes ploy. Immediately after the MSM Twitter images of cops allowing people in, the entire establishment demanded impeachment and dismissal of fraud. Source: I was there. I was tear-gassed by just being there. The cops were not all in unison. So this person, what she is trying to do is say that this was all an inside job to distract people from election fraud. That's what this person is saying. This person claims to have a left-wing podcast. This person is heavily connected to left-wing podcasters. Right? So I just want that to be clear. Here's another one of this Stardust person. And again, these are leftist accounts that got like 5,000 followers that are podcast hosts and guests. These are not like random people. Some of them are semi-random. But these are people that if you are on left Twitter, you will see them pop up. If you are on left Twitter and you find their accounts, you will see that you have 100 mutual followers with these people. These are people that have sway in especially these forced to vote crew. Like, again, the line of 1-to-1, all the people who said forced to vote are all enabling a fascist coup is astounding. So this person says, hey lefties, this could be us, but you're still too busy pretending Nina, Corey, and AOC give two shits about us. So again, then this person, where was it? Was tweeting about, oh, Cory Bush wants to expel members of Congress? Fascist. It's not fascist to direct a group of 1 million people to storm the Capitol. That's fine. That's free speech. But what's fascist is to hold those people accountable for their actions. That's fascist. All of these people that are carrying water for fascism, Nico House, Sarcasm Stardust, whoever this person is, Fiorella Isabel, these people are fascists. These are Nazis. These are not socialists. These are not communists. These are not anarchists. Maybe if you want to be very, 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 very lenient, you can maybe call them tankies or authoritarian leftists. But let's be honest. That's not a thing. There is no such thing as an authoritarian leftist. What? So, okay, you want Medicare for all and a Green New Deal, but only for white people? Or only for cis people? Or only for straight people? And you're not a Nazi? Okay. There are some violent people, but there are also kids, elderly, and people simply fighting for election integrity. It's not a fascist storm of the Capitol. It's a Stop the Steal protest. They're fighting for election integrity. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And again, I've got more of these images here. And this is just what people sent me. I was streaming the whole day. So then you have this Mary Fonseca or whatever. This person is another person that, again, I see people retweet all the time. Let's read what they have to say. This is someone who claims to be a leftist. This is someone who coincidentally thought that Biden was worse than Trump. This is someone who coincidentally wanted to force the vote, and instead of forcing the vote or advocating for Medicare for all they did was talk about how AOC and Cory Bush are evil. This is someone who coincidentally did all those things and is now enabling and defending a fascist coup. I'm seeing a lot of leftists that sound just like the conservatives. People have a right to protest their government. This is at 5 p.m., by the way. This isn't at 12 p.m. This isn't, when it was just stop the steal, stop the steal. This was at 5 p.m. after the Capitol was ransacked. After these people stormed the Capitol. After someone was shot and killed by Secret Service. After it was exposed that a lot of these people had Molotov cocktails and pipe bombs that they brought into the Capitol. They brought pipe bombs into offices of members of Congress in the name not of forcing the vote, not of Medicare for all, not of a $2,000 stimulus check, you dumb so-called lefty. They were doing it in the name of Donald Trump. They brought pipe bombs into the Capitol building. Oh, but they're protesting the government. You sound just like the people saying that protesting is not the same as burning down the police station. There's a difference between burning down a police station. The police station, by the way, their only purpose is to occupy a city, right? Their purpose is not to legislate. Their purpose is not, to be a beacon of the definition of this country. And now, again, I don't like America. I don't like Americans. I don't like politicians, okay? But there is a far cry from citizens burning down Minneapolis' 3rd precinct and Trump-crazed goons trying to blow up the Capitol building. If you are equating those situations, you are garbage. You are not differing in ideas. You are not someone with a very out-of-the-box opinion. You are not someone with, who's really thinking. You are not, a noble, consistent debater. You are a piece of human garbage. Mary Fonseca, and I've got some more here. So we got some really bizarre tweets here. And again, this is after all of this stuff occurred. This isn't at 11:30 a.m. when Trump is delivering his speech and saying, oh, they just want to stop the steal. This isn't at 12 45 when they're marching over to the Capitol to like deliver a protest remarks. This is after the Capitol was ransacked, after the pipe bombs were reported, after Secret Service shot someone for trying to invade the Capitol building, after boxes of Molotovs were found, after people with zip ties were trying to, take hostage members of Congress. This is after all of that information came out. Calling protesters terrorists. Who else calls protesters terrorists? Oh, that's right, conservatives. Again, these are Nazis. I'm seeing a lot of leftists that sound like conservatives. People have the right to protest the government. If only the left had stormed the Capitol for Medicare for all, a $2,000 stimulus, a UBI, Green New Deal, election reform, Assange, and against imperialism in a peaceful yet stern way. Instead, the right are doing it. It's not an instead. There is no instead. Oh, if we just forced the vote 2 days ago, would the Trumpers not have done this? That's their argument. That's these people's argument. Oh, if AOC, who is single-handedly standing in front of healthcare, forced the vote on January 4th, then this situation would not have occurred? What? I support protests against our government. They have not been harming us. They have been harming us and the rest of the world for decades. If you are against protests, then you are against one of the very few rights we are supposed to have. I am not against protests. By the way, interesting retweet here. Maria Fonseca retweeting Max Blumenthal. Interesting connection. Just throwing that out there. It's an interesting one. Again, if you are referring to Trump supporters as protesters in this institution, or in this instance, you are not a leftist, you are not a socialist, you're not a communist, you are not a libertarian socialist, you're not a libertarian, you are a fascist. You're not a tanky, you're not an authoritarian, you are a fascist. Plain and simple. MAGAs are overthrowing the Capitol and resistors are tweeting MAGA is canceled. What a day in the United States of America. I'm actually rooting for the Capitol to be overthrown right now. Interesting, by the way, that this person says Capitol with an A. Just throwing that out there. Illiteracy and ignorance is not surprising among these people. Again, they are fascist goons. These people, connected to the gray zone, connected to the Force the Vote movement, connected to Nico House, connected to Jack Posobiec, these are fascists being funded by fascists to enable fascism. That's what this is. They know that if they are able to convince maybe margins, 1%, 2% of left-leaning people that this coup is okay, maybe they would be more likely to get away with it. That's what these people's purpose is on this planet, is to carry water for fascism. And then we have this fucking weirdo. So AOC, this is at 8 p.m. After pipe bombs were discovered at the U.S. Capitol, this dumb motherfucking fascist goon decided to mock AOC, who was currently at this point barricaded in an office, scared for her life, because Republicans, at the behest of some of the Force the Vote people, know that AOC is an enemy. AOC has higher name recognition in Republicans than she does in Democrats. The reason is because they want to kill her. This person, JV Graz on Twitter, they've got like 30,000 followers or something, right? This person has been enabling a smear campaign against AOC, saying AOC is evil, saying AOC is a scumbag, and AOC is single-handedly in the way of our healthcare. This person has been carrying water for fascists, and after the fascists try to kill her and the rest of the members of Congress, he applauds the fascists and mocks AOC. These are not leftists. These are not organizers. These are not socialists. These are not communists. These are not tankies. These are Nazis. Nazis, by the way, that are occupying a slightly different media space. Nazis in the 1940s knew not all of them could say the same thing. They knew that some of them would have to act as the pipeline to bring other people to the Nazi propaganda that they were going to espouse. They paid people to promote their propaganda in unions, in union meetings. They paid people to promote their propaganda with their families. Because it's a lot easier to accept a narrative if it's your friend telling you and not the president or the Fuhrer. Because you'll respect your friend a lot more than you'll respect the Fuhrer. And in this conversation, in this context, these Force the Vote people, these are your friend These are the people that have been paid off. These are the fascists. Now, they might not be wearing the brown shirts. They might be wearing the jeans and the blue collar. That doesn't change that these people are operatives that want to kill you. They don't care about trans rights. They don't care about women's rights. They supported anti-abortion, anti-trans politicians. They don't care about healthcare. They use it as a cudgel to convince you to team up with neo-Nazis. Because guess what? If you team up with neo-Nazis, the neo-Nazis notice that you're trans, gay, right? They will kill you. They will kill you. They will not hesitate. I know a lot of people that have been beaten at protests by Trump supporters because they got sussed out as being trans or gay. That's what these people are telling you to ally with. These people want, oh, but you agree on healthcare. 80% of Americans agree with healthcare, so let's team up with fascists that want to kill trans and gay people? Interesting. So again, I've been on top of this for the last month or so. I've been going after the force the vote people because I knew that they were bad actors. I sniffed them out. And if you, at some point, in some capacity, right now at 10:47 a.m. or whenever you see this on January 7th, not 6th, if you are still defending these gray zone, Jimmy Dore, force the vote goon squads after they've enabled and defended a fascist takeover of our government that would leave, by the way, if the fascists took over the government, they would kill the trans people, they would kill the gay people, they'd probably kill all the people of color, and they'd probably enslave women because that's what they want. So, when you enable that, or when you endorse that in any capacity, I'm sorry, you are not a leftist. And again, I've been following these people's grifts for the last month now. You can go back on my channel. I said the same thing a month ago that I said now. These people are enabling Trumpism in left media spaces. And now again, I don't know how many leftists were successfully contorted over to Trumpism or would, but if you are getting thousands of likes on your tweets for saying, like, oh, this could be us, but you playing, I'm sorry. You are a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. The most charitable, the most generous way that I could describe someone in the force the vote dumb left is a dumb motherfucker. A dumb motherfucker. Possibly dumber than Donald Trump himself. Donald Trump is rich. He doesn't care, right? There's a difference between knowing, right, that you don't care about everyone else and then claiming that you do for a certain, like, you only care about certain groups, right? And then there's a difference between that Donald Trumpism, and then saying, oh, I care for everyone. Medicare for all. Black Lives Matter, everyone. Isn't the Trump supporter getting killed by Secret Service the same as Breonna Taylor getting killed? It's the same thing. I had people tell me that on Twitter this morning. This morning, people were saying that police brutality is as bad as when a Trump supporter gets killed storming Congress by Secret Service. That's bad. That's as bad, if not, like, even, that's worse than cops operating on a faulty warrant to kill someone in their home while they're sleeping. These sick motherfuckers are comparing the death of a Trump supporter storming the Capitol to Breonna Taylor. Why? Because they are Nazis and they're being paid to do so. They are either being paid to do so or they are gullible and following in lockstep the orders of someone else that's being paid to do so. These are not good faith actors. These are not people that disagree. These are edgy teenage children being paid to promote divisive Nazi-adjacent rhetoric in the United States of America within left-wing media spaces. Fact. And I want to say explicitly, my platform is available. If any of them find this video, if any of them think I'm libeling them or smearing them, you're welcome to come on my show anytime. Well, maybe not anytime, but any day. I stream every single day. But, I'm not going to talk to you at like 3 in the morning, right? But any day you can come on my show, any day, and we can have this conversation. But they won't. I've asked them every single time. I've asked these people, hey, you want to come on my podcast and talk about Force the Vote? They say no. Hey, you want to come on my podcast and talk about Jimmy Dore and Force the Vote? No. Hey, you want to come on my podcast and give a defense of what the strategy of Force the Vote is? No. They don't want to debate. Why don't they want to debate? They don't care about free speech. It's free speech for them, but not for us. because all they care about is getting their narrative out there. They don't care about the battlefield of ideas. They don't care about righteous debate. They care about propagandizing as many people as they can. And they know if they were to come on my show, that I wouldn't fuck around. They know that if they were to come on my show, that they wouldn't be able to propagandize anyone and it would be a waste of their time. And so, as a result, they won't waste their time. But if someone sees this, any of the people I called out, anyone that agrees with them, and you want to debate me, send me an email, send me a message. You know where to find me. Anyway, I had to do an extended segment on these people. I'm sorry.